And good morning, good afternoon. Yeah, good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Sorry about that. Welcome on into the Dragon's Den. My name's Digital Dragon, aka Luke, and I am a 3D printing variety streamer here on Twitch. How's it going? Hey, Mr. Wizix, Timor, going this morning? Sorry, I was a little tongue tied. I haven't had nearly enough coffee yet today. I do have coffee cups made. But I've been dealing with phone calls and other things. Um, so, for those of you that are here, and I know Chewy, welcome on in. Good morning, Mr. Wizix, Timor, and everybody. It's going to be a little bit shorter stream today for a couple of reasons. One is, the Clemson Tigers are playing Wake Forest, which is one of the local rivalries that we got going on. And I want to watch at least one of the football games this year. Um, and then two, I have to drive east a couple hours. My great niece, yeah, my great niece is having her baptism tomorrow. So I've gotten a call from my brother, gotten a call this morning right before the stream by my parents, and I've gotten notifications from my wife reminding me that I need to get out there. So we're going to go to a church service for a denomination that I am not a part of and go baptism. So that'll be great. It's going to be a great weekend full of fun, yes. Yep. Exactly. So, hope everybody's doing well. So, today's kind of going to be one of those little weird chat and chill streams. We're going to be doing a little more printing on the Positron. So, I am still trying to figure out, I am getting filament down around the heat break. I'm not totally sure what that's about. We did take the tool head apart and try and tighten the heat break a little bit more, but it is what it is. And let me show you guys. We've got like this little army of things, and I wanted to set them up and have them like all over have them like actually attacking. But these are, and I'm going to have to pull up the model. I believe I got them off printables. But these are like little pumpkin crawlers. They're 6 legs. So I printed all the orange parts off on the rat rig. And I figured, what the heck? So I've been printing all the green parts off here on the Positron. The one set of legs and a little topper piece at a time. So that's kind of what I've been doing with the Positron, just trying to get some additional time on it, keep an eye on it. I don't have the full faith to do like a multi-hour print and walk away from it just yet. It'll come, right? It's just we got to build some time up on the machine. But we've got our little minions here that are keeping an eye on Positron and being an extra set of eyes for me. I figured these would be cute little things to give away. We got like the little happy face. We've got scary face pumpkin. And then we got the oblong scary face gourd pumpkin. So these are pretty cool. They're neat. I think that'll be cool to give away to the kids with some of the candy this year. But we will get this going again. Print. It's a quick print. I did set up like a full plate, and then I realized that the legs are kind of a matched set type of thing. And the legs, what I've been doing is lining it up. So of course we got the really shiny side, which is the side that goes against the glass. I want that facing the back, and the other side, the little detail here, is facing the front. So I just kind of flip it over, look where the face is, and that's where the front side will go. And we've got these little rotating clip areas. So you just line this up, kind of push it in at a sideways angle, and it'll clip in just like that, and then give you some range of articulation. These are cool little things. Like I said, it just doesn't really matter what order, but the legs are, I'll say, kind of mirror images. So if you do the one side one way with each of the three legs, you can hit the other three legs real fast in the same orientation, and well, I shouldn't say same orientation, but the same order. Each leg is slightly different as far as where the vine and the leaf goes. So you can either really mix and match them, or you try and get them going in the same way at the same position. But I'm going to put this together real fast, and like I said, it's just 3 legs on each side. I find that pushing in and then down with my other finger tends to be the easier way to get them in. And like I said, I'll have to pull up the file, but they're little 6-legged pumpkin creepers. Getting some coffee? That sounds like a plan, Pez. All right, we're going to be printing some more of these. Like I said, I printed, I don't know, a bunch of these. I think it was like 3 sets of 18 to start with. And then I'm going to print all the legs and try and throw them together. But I figure that would be a good thing to have on tap on Halloween to give out to the neighborhood kids. And then, like I said, my plan is to actually take this into the office here either this next week or the week after, and just kind of show it off. I think that would be a pretty cool thing. You know, that's the nice thing with this printer is, once again, this entire printer, the power supply and everything, can collapse down and go into the Positron case, right? Even nice stickered front and back, right? Gives you some of the specs on it. But nice, good, sturdy case. And then all you need to do is bring a roll of filament with you, and you're off and running. So yeah. Hey, Tech Jeeper, how's it going? Good day. How is your Positron going? You've got yours dialed in, even tested the folding and unfolding, pulled it out, set it up. Yeah, I will tell you, last night, I have found, move your tool head either all the way out like this or into the park position, which is, I think, over here, and move your bed all the way up. You can undo the screw in the back, and you can lay it down enough that through that screw hole opening, you can get to the belt adjustment tensioning screw with a ball end driver. And so I did tighten my belts up a little bit. Now that we've got some print time on it, I did go ahead and give it a little bit of an adjustment. But this will be a really cool printer to take wherever. You did a built over Cozy Dragon last night? Nice. What I really want to do is get some of the latest like little small, you know, like the smaller size articulated like keychains or whatever, and be able to print a bunch of those off. But you may notice also that we've got a small pile of parts here. And basically what we have left of the next box turtle build, while this gets started, here's the latest box turtle build. I've got everything wired up. I did do the initial catapult flash on this. Now what I need to do is get my CAN bus cable made and routed through here and just put on the legs and stuff like that. And we'll be ready to actually put clipper on this and then test it out. And because I know I've got a great working setup on the Trident, which printed all weekend long at 3D Printopia, this will be tested on the Trident using files that I've been printing with the red and orange box turtle on. And then this will be ready to go. And I'm starting to print parts for the next one, which will be orange, black, and purple to match Kyber Dragon down here. And we'll bring that over here because we're going to have to redo the tool head to do a Filomatrix tool head. And we'll do some maintenance on it. But that is a straight LDO kit, and I have agreed to put that on display at a local shop called Evocate 3D. And yeah, I put this up here and I'm blocking the positron, but trust me, the positron is printing. It is printing away. I will move this kind of like this. I'm just going to put the end pieces on here while we're chatting. And to do that, I need some M5 nuts. One thing I still need is some M5 standard nuts. And then but yeah, I've been building a lot of box turtles. Thunder Keys got me in, and we'll just say I'm hooked, I'm smitten, I'm whatever you want to call it. These things are great. I really, really, really like the build. It's a pretty easy build. And the next one I build, the one that's going to go on display, is going to be the one that I'll build that actually uses my AFC light board, which is the purpose-built board for it. So rather than having the two boards like I have in this one and all my others, which is the Big Tree Tech and a MOSFETI. The next one will actually have a AFC light board in it, which basically is an all-in-one board. Cannot use the 10s. I'm going to need at least 12s, I think, reliably. Since I don't have any of those, we'll go with 14, because I do have some of those. But yeah. One thing that I would like to say is if you've seen me on one of the other streams, or if you see me as we're just printing and breaking in our Positron, I do wipe the glass down with isopropyl alcohol, standard IPA, 90 something percent, right? Only do that on the print surface, the underside of the glass. Do not do it on the top of the glass here. This actually has a film coating on it, which is the heating element. If you use IPA on the heating element side, it will damage it over time. It'll cause it to delaminate and deteriorate. That I just saw that PSA announcement on Nomad's Discord, or the Positron Discord. So that's good information. I want to make sure that gets out in these videos that we've been doing on the Positron, is to make sure that you properly care for and maintain your Positron. So don't use IPA on the back side of that surface, only on the front build surface, build plate side. The other thing is, I did see that they are coming out with, I'll say, a more standard or traditional build heater plate that will incorporate, a magnet, PEI, the whole 9 yards there. So the downside of that is it becomes a little bit more difficult to try and dial in your first layer, because by definition you won't be able to see through it. But that will be a thing, or it is a thing now. I don't know, one of the two. I've seen the beds. I just don't know if anybody has them in there for sale yet. You went through and cleaned up the macros and categorized the macro panel on the main page of Fluid. So that's what I've kind of done. Well, let me rephrase that. I haven't done it for the Positron yet, but if I look at, where am I at here? If I look at Iron Dragon, for example, once again, this is my main sale. If I scroll down, you'll see that we have base printer macros. So G32, line purge, load, unload, filament, that stuff. Then I have a box turtle collection of macros. This is all related to the box turtle. And then I have one for the status light. This is all the LED lights that work with the tool head, which I've got an issue with my tool head lights. They don't work. I don't know what's up. I have resoldered them numerous times. I don't know if it's with the SB2209 board, if I fried something on there or whatever. But yeah. I kind of like doing macro setups like this, so it's easier to find, where on this, you've got all of these macros, and it's, the biggest thing is load and unload filament. You're having to sit here and look in alphabetical order. Did they do load, or did they do filament load, filament unload, or what have you? So trying to break it out and give yourself some groupings of macros might be good and easy. So, and then Mr. Wizix, you got all the hardware printing box turtle parts now. AFC light has shipped. Will be here Tuesday. Nice. Yeah, it goes by. The build is pretty quick. And here's the thing, so we just still don't have the manual out for it, but from a order of operations, right? Build the frame from the front side down, right? So this is the front side of the box turtle. Start building your frame with this side facing down. And as you get the side frames in, set your trays down in there and then start putting your back together, because if you're doing the hub has to kind of sit in here, and this is 3 parts. And, you know, I always build mine flat on the table like this. So you'll get your U shape, you'll get your 4 lanes in there, and then you'll get the bottom one in and build this piece in. Then build your 4 respooler heads and get them installed. Why? Because that means nothing's in here and you have a lot of ease to get in and do your wiring for your LEDs, and to do the first set of wires, which will be your end stops, right? A lot of stuff gets tight right in here because of where the board's at. Then come in and build your extruders up and do your install and wiring from the farthest in towards your board, because that way you see I'm running all of my wires right down through this kind of center channel piece, and each one's just sitting right over and then feeding in. So that's the easiest way, like order of operations I've seen to get it done. Just a suggestion. You don't have to follow it, but it is a suggestion. After building, this is what, number 3 now, and I will be building at least a 4th to put on display with Kyber Dragon, which will, like I said, go to a local 3D printing store called Evocate. They are a brick and mortar 3D printing store here in Raleigh, North Carolina. They sell printers, they sell filaments, to include filaments from the other local company that I've been chatting up lately, which is named EPAX. They started off in dental resin and resin printers, and they're starting to get into FDM filaments. So they were at all the shows this year, and I use their filament a lot. In fact, at 3D Printopia, I got there and immediately picked up 4 spools to put on the box turtle as I was running the box turtle through the show. And then I bought a case before I left. Do you not know why this is not, like, are you not screwing in? Oh, because I just needed to give it a little love tap. Okay. Hey Chewy, how's it going? Yeah, I've been happy with EPAX filament. I will tell you that in their office, because I have gone and visited their office here in Raleigh, they do have bamboo printers in their office, both the X1C and I think it's a P1P or one of the P1 series, and that's what they use to test all their filaments. So when they come out with a new filament color or type, like if they're doing a silk or a dual extrusion or whatever, they're printing on bamboos to make sure that they can print them at speed and reliably. So they do a lot of testing like that. And Royal Nomi, how is it going, hon? I hope you are doing well. Hope you are doing well on this fine Saturday morning. I need this and my M3 by 8. So as you see, that print is already done. It does not take much. It does not take much for these prints. And we're just doing kind of a little bit of a hodgepodge as we get ready for the day. When I started the stream, I just kind of let people know that it's going to be a little bit shorter stream today because I'm going to try and watch some of the Clemson Tiger Wake Forest football game today. And then I've got to drive east and head over to my parents' house because I've got to attend my great niece's baptism tomorrow. So everybody's already called and, are you coming? Are you coming? When are you coming? How long are you going to be here? So I got to go and answer that family summons. Oh yeah, like I said, the ePax filament has been great. I'm still working. You know, I want to get a sponsor deal with them, but today is officially EnderXY debraining. Won't stay tuned. It's wonky. Yeah, Timor. My EnderXY is sitting under the black box right now, and I am not planning on installing it on a printer. In fact, it's going to get, it's already been debrained, and that brain is in the red and orange box turtle. So it's already been debrained, but it will be departed and those parts recovered and used in other builds around the shop because the tuning on it has been painful. And I really think the issue that it comes down to is the D shaft. That long D shaft, I think, is the Achilles heel of that design right now. Okay, so on the Positron, like I said, I'm still getting some filament oozing, or not oozing, but oh, what am I thinking of? I'm getting filament leaking out of the heat break, and we did take it off, and that heat break is as tight as I can make it without snapping it. And we had an issue with the fan. I jumped on Nomad's stream last night, and he thanked me for the troubleshooting that we did on the fans on stream the other night, because we went through and used the bench test power supply, which has been great since I got it. So it's not in the description of the stream, but in the, like the VODs here and the VODs that I post over to YouTube, the link for that benchtop power supply will be there. It is an affiliate link from Amazon, but it's been great for testing things out. Like I said, this is a custom LDO fan that they use in the Positron, and there is just something that it does not like. I can get it to kickstart and start spinning, but after less than a minute, it shuts off. And it's just really weird. And even when I'm getting it spinning, if I tell it it can draw more than 2.5 amps, it doesn't even start. If I get it 24 volts and 0.25 amps, it'll start and it will run for a little bit at a woefully low RPM, but it's only drawing about 12 volts, like less than 12 volts. So I don't know what's wrong with this fan, but we did get a lot of good data that Nomad and team can get back to LDO motors. Right now we have a Winsen fan in here, standard Winsen dual ball bearing 5015 fan with no tachometer. That's working perfectly fine. I'm not using any of the tachometer features. So that's fine. There are some macros that you can, they're there, they're just not being called, that can do pre-flight checks, kind of like a Prosa does, to validate that the fans are working properly before print. And if the tachometer reading drops, it can also stop a print. So, yeah. So that's that. The printer, like I said, has been printing great. After we got the first layer and the extrusion multiplier and the E-steps calibrated, we've had great prints out of it so far. I mean, first real boat, and looking at this boat, it came out great. We've got a little bit on the bow, and that's cooling, right? But there's a little bit of funkiness right there on the bow. And I know I really need to get some better studio lighting in. There's some type of an anomaly right here on the edge. I don't know. You can see the words on the back, even though that is a seam line that's coming up there. And you can see the CT3D XYZ on the back. Now what you can tell is the shine has gone away. Like you can see, if I can get there we go. You can see where some of the back corner edge here came off, right? If I can get it just right, you can kind of see where this edge started to warp and peel away from the bed. But overall, I mean, that's a pretty good benchy. It was not a speed benchy by any means. This is not I think this is like a 59-minute benchy, standard print settings off the Orca profile. But this printed, I mean, this is an acceptable benchy to me. Definitely an acceptable benchy. This is printed in the Polymaker PLA Pro. This is the Loyal Moses creator reel in the sparkle dark green. But yeah, this has been really printing nice once we got that fixed. And how are you doing this morning, Royal Nomi? How are you feeling? Is BC still getting you up and moving you around? Yeah, I mean, if you made like a 5 or 6 lane ERCFA, I think it will be fine. Because that's all I would be able to use. Anything past that kept getting unreliable. Same thing with the servos. Even after putting the Savix on it, trying to get the servo repeatability just wasn't there. And I don't know if it's because it's a 6-volt servo and we're only sending it 5 volts. I don't know. But ERCFA is just not reliable for me. So I went a different route. Thank you. I cannot thank Thunder Keys enough for getting me into the box turtle. And I have been tickled pink with the box turtle. So we've got that cleared off. I'm just going to hit restart and we'll keep going. But I wanted to look up this model real fast. So let me do that. Printables. I know it was off of printables. I think it was crawling. pumpkin or something like that. Yeah. Oh, maybe. Yeah. So it's these guys here. They're called tiny crawling pumpkins. And I will go ahead and drop that link in chat. And these guys are so cute. So these are just Polymaker orange filament, PLA, and then the green legs, the viney legs in the top are the Loyal Moses Sparkle Dark Green. And I did just see when I was looking at this that I think there's a remix. Yeah, face inserts for tiny crawling pumpkins. So these you can print out face inserts so you can stick inserts into the slots and make the the faces stand out a little bit more. So that's kind of cool. And hey sis, welcome on in. Hope you're doing well. I guess it helps if I hit send or chat when I go to put the link in. And then the other link that I still need to put in that I haven't set a timer up for yet is, I have to go get that out of my email. So I'm now a West 3D affiliate. So I do have an affiliate link with West 3D. So if you guys are buying anything, you can go to KB3D or West 3D and use my affiliate links. And that will, provide a little something back to the channel, right? It doesn't change anything that you're being charged, but it does provide something back to the channel, which is really cool. It supports the channel and the things that I do and helps me bring new content in, like the box turtles and stuff like that. So preparing to go back over to the farm and sort, pack, and move stuff. Oh, yeah. Well, that's good that you have gloves because I'm sure the farm is full of spiders and snakes and nope ropes and all that good stuff, especially if it's been, you know, I'll say construction damage stuff. I know how that goes. When we finally tore down, or they started tearing down Tent City over in Saudi Arabia, they finally, after they had enough people that were bitten by snakes or stung by scorpions or spiders, they torched the whole thing in place. They pulled the tent, like the actual canvas tents off the 2x4 framing and the decks, and they burnt everything else in place because it was just so bad with people getting stung or bitten. What was I going to do? Oh, we got another set of legs here to put on one of our pumpkins. So we'll just reach into the box and grab one. I might look into printing some of the face things because I could do like one whole batch of faces for one of the types and maybe just do it real quick over on the bamboo and then pop those in. If you're going to be doing that, you're going to be giving this to kids, please put a little bit of glue on them to make sure that they don't pop out. Protect the kiddos, you know. Ooh. Well, this one's going to be down a leg because that one had a layer shift. I have to find and redo that one. Why that happened. You got red yet. Not sure what that means, but so far the little tops normally stay in. So on these, you might want to put a drop of glue as well. There is a divot. There's a couple of divots in the, so it should be like a snap fit. So, but yeah, I'm going to make like a little army of these guys and give them out to the kids. I do want to put a filament box up here or something. Yeah, we'll do filament box. Oh, anybody get anything cool during Prime Days? I know I went ahead and picked up some Fibron filament. So, where'd I put it? I picked up the PA12CF and some PET CF17 Fibron filament, another poly dryer. I have several boxes. I just had one of the dryer units and I wanted another dryer unit. And I realized that, well, they don't sell the dryer unit separately, which was a little bit of a surprise. I really wish they would. And where am I? Need to find my PTFE tube. I prefer 2.5 millimeter inside diameter for these PTFE tubes. I found that the 3 millimeter stuff that I've been using is a little too, it'll kink. Yeah, every time I try and do one of the tighter bends in here, it kinks rather than bends. And that becomes no bueno for easy, clean filament path. So I thought I had some 2.5. This is, let me see what the Capricorn tube, this is reverse Bowden tube. I'm curious to see how the Capricorn, it might just be that I've got some more inexpensive stuff. This is 3 millimeter inside diameter Capricorn Bowden tube. I picked this up at 3D Printopia. It is orange. So I wonder why I picked that color. Let me go ahead and get this set up for cutting. Yep, and that one just kinked pretty badly on me. So I do need to go and get some 2.5 ID Bowden tube because I don't see any around here. Because I may have used it all in the last one. Ooh, wait a minute. Haha. Score. And some of you may say, well, where are you getting your 2.5 millimeter ID Bowden tube? Quite honestly, the MMU3 comes with a large amount of Bowden tube because they don't know where you're setting up your spools. So I've cut mine down quite a ways, and this is all cutoffs from that. Once again, it's 2.5 millimeter ID. So this works a lot better, and you don't get nearly as much kinks when you're trying to set these up. And the 3 millimeter you can make work, but what you basically have to do is you have to go through and put filament or something inside of it to help keep it from bending. And Pezlis, thank you for the Gigantify. Pezlis, I appreciate it. And thank you, I believe that was Sis, for cheering 100 bits. I appreciate you. Appreciate you very much. I know things are tight for many people, and if you were impacted by any of the recent storms, I will say please make sure and use any and all available resources. And thank you for the swoosh, or shoosh, not swoosh, shoosh. The Pezlis catchphrase of the year, shoosh. Yeah, there's various resources that are out there. There's even some, resources in the 3D printing community that are helping to 3D print parts to support people, whether it's parts that are needed to get equipment back up and running, or, just basic staples like 3D printing sporks and stuff like that, so people have tools to eat with. Right? So all kinds of things that the 3D printing community can be coming together and helping with. So if you were impacted, reach out. If you were not impacted, still reach out and see if we can't help our fellow members of the human race. I think at some point we're trying to get like actual links. Right now, I'm just kind of, playing it by ear. And honestly, I think I did cut this one just a tiny bit too short. So I'm going to grab the remainder, cut it a little bit longer. That piece will be used for a future hot end. And this piece is not going to go to waste because I'm actually going to use it to make this one. I think I did make that one too. So I went from being cold this morning to all of a sudden I'm getting hot, and I have a feeling part of it's the coffee, and the other part was just, turning the heater on. I want that a little bit less, that double bend kind of off. Kind of hard to gauge these double bends here because you want, you you want to make sure that you're fully engaged in both of the ECAS fittings, because if you're not, it will pop out. I've got one of mine that I have to redo the Bowden tube on for these two center ones because it keeps pushing the Bowden tube out. And that will, of course, give you problems in this little thing called filament changes. But yeah, I mean, it's at some point we're going to have the actual diameters laid out for everybody, or not diameters, lengths laid out for everybody. Same thing with the wires. At some point they want to have, like a full wire harness potential, so that, and it'll most likely be for just the AFC light, which is the dedicated board for this. It will not be a, it won't be like a, oh, here's one for Big Tree Tech. Here's one for an octopus. Here's one for, no, they're only going to be supporting the AMS light board. And I get that because it's going to make things a lot easier on the support channels and stuff. During the beta, we've been using whatever we've got. We've had somebody that's built his with a octopus. I built all of mine with this setup, which has been a Big Tree Tech MMB. The first two were the B1.0 boards. This is a B1.1. There's a slight pinout difference. And the MOSFETI boards. So that's worked very well. There are the options of doing independent MOSFET boards, and somebody's been mounting them like right here at each lane. So there are options. Right now we've got everything done up underneath and internal. So the only thing we'd have left to do is to build our CAN bus cable. And then, well, the CAN bus cable and our little inlet tips. And that's easy enough to do. You don't need very much. This little bit right here is perfectly fine, or even smaller. I'll probably just use that length, cut a couple of more, and that'll be the length that I'll use. The other thing is the 2.5 millimeter inside diameter tubing. It cuts a lot easier without like crimping over and going out of round. Well, that's sparkle blue PLA. Maybe we'll throw that in when this roll is done. On the ground, not in, yeah. Yeah, see, that's the thing is everybody thinks, oh, well, the water's gone. No, that much water came down and it soaked in, and now you've got the stench of just rot and mud. All the trees that were felled, they're starting to rot in place now. There's still a lot of moisture out there. Yeah, it's the smell of woods is great. The smell of just rot, not so much. Hey, good morning, Glendon. Welcome in. Hope you're doing well today. As we're sitting here talking about rot and decay. I'm just sitting here, printing some things on the Positron. Just working on breaking it in some, and getting, you know, standard things. We got to print on it to kind of break things in, get the tool head and everything to finally seat well. Like I said, I am still getting a little bit of ooze out of the heat break, and the only thing I can think of at this point would be to disassemble it and possibly take that heat break out and maybe put some like boride nitrite paste on it when I put it back in to try and seal it. But you got to be very careful doing that. Yeah, bog rot is like rotting diapers. Exactly. It's pretty nasty. But what we're doing is we're printing out. These are good, simple prints. They're pretty quick. If they fail, I'll say quickly, and it's not a lot of waste. But these are the legs to these little guys that I'm showing up here on screen. These are tiny crawling pumpkins. These are just cute little guys. I don't have the printed inserts in them, but somebody did throw up in the remixes some printed inserts for the faces so that you can add, you know, the black in for the faces to really make the faces pop. But yep, kind of all I'm doing is just getting these set up so that I can give them out on Halloween, along with candy, of course. I'm not going to be that guy that, oh, here, have a 3D print. You don't need candy. No, I'm gonna sugarify the kids. That's for sure. I will sugarify any kids that come by. And these just snap on. And once again, the orange pumpkins themselves were printed on the rat rig. I did batches of 18, so 6 of each face or type at a time. So there's a batch of 18 done at a time. And then now I'm just printing the legs and the top hat there. But yeah, cute little guy. Cute little guy. And they're going to be all over the place. So I figure I'll give these to the kids. I don't have, well, I have some like small kids. Small kids like this, but you know, I've got some that are like 3-4 years old, but I've also got a lot of teenagers and stuff. So I think teenagers will think these are pretty cool as well, like tweens and stuff. But yeah, let's get back over to the bench side so you guys can actually see the positron printing. We got the positron printing. We've got a couple more things that we need to put on our box turtle, and we need to make the cable. The big thing with the cable is, of course, your XT30 2x2 cable here is the part that goes into the printer into the box turtle. And unfortunately, that side is the one that's more of a pain to make. So we always keep that one I'll say untouched. We want to keep that cable the way it is. I don't have any of those XT30x30s, but you can see, like, I could literally jump rope with one of these cables. Let me do the main view real fast. Like, I could literally jump rope with this cable. it's huge, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to feed this in through it, or through the back panel, because this end doesn't go through without taking the extrusion off and then trying to get it in there. Once again, this end doesn't go through there because of this bigger housing. If it was manually made without having this big plastic shroud, we could fit it through all day long. But for now, we'll take the opposite end of the cable, fit it through. There's the JST. There's 2 power wires. Pull this through. And we'll get this plugged in. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create a 4-pin JST cable on the other side. And what that's going to enable me to do is, where is that? That will allow me to basically, I'll say not hot swap. Don't do it with powered on, but it will allow me to move these around. So today what I'll be able to do is I'll be able to pull the filament out of the red and orange one over here on Iron Dragon, put this one on, flash the clipper to that board, which already has catapult on it, and then all I need to do is just call the UUID out, and I'll be able to swap between these or add multiple ones and daisy chain them. So that's an option as well. Though what I need to do is try and figure out what my cable length needs to be. So there-ish. Want to give it a little bit of wiggle room. You don't want it to be tight. You do want to be able to get it out of the way. But the other thing that this will enable us to do is when we go on a trip like 3D Printopia, we can easily take Box Turtle off because this is power and data. We can undo Box Turtle, take the printer and pack the printer nicely, pack Box Turtle separately, and then when we get to the show, we can pull Box Turtle out and stand less chance of snagging a cable and breaking things off or anything like that. And this is perfectly good cable. Like I said, all I need to do is get some XT30 2x2s and I can make my own cable, just like they did for the bed here. This is a handmade version versus I'll say a machine made. So, hey Zombie, welcome on in. How goes it? And Zombie, did you? I haven't caught your streams. I am so sorry. This last week's been really, really weird. But have you started your black box build? Inquiring minds want to know, have you started your black box build? And once again, this is going to be a 4-pin microfit. Whichever one you set up for your, whether it's a 2-2 or 4 side by side. I've got a 4 side by side set up. So what I need to do is just make sure that I crimp these and install them in the right order. And then we can build the opposite side that will go from the side skirt over to either the controller board or the like UTC module or whatever, however we're getting CAN bus out. And that way we can plug and unplug this right at the side skirt. Yeah, I've dealt with a little bit myself. Um, so yeah, this changing weather has been rough on all of us, I think. And then just schedules, right? Like I don't know about you, but the the con crunch and then I say con crunch, but 3D Printopia and getting ready for that, it just really wipes you out. Um, yeah. So the way I set these up, go ahead and get these put in. Um, I have to work on cleaning those up a little bit, but we'll make those little standoffs. Free time, what's that? Yeah. Hey, thank you for the follow, DJ Ronan. Folks, give me 1 second. I'm going to step right off screen here so I'm going to take my shoes off because, like I said, it is getting warm in here. So if I take my shoes off, I'm the type of person that if my feet are cold, I'm cold. And I'm wearing well, let's just say I'm wearing my hunting boots or my hiking boots. So that will help a little bit. That'll help cool me off some. There we go. Yeah, so welcome on in, DJ Ronan. So are you an actual DJ or is that just, you know, name, initials, what have you? What was I? We're gonna do pins here. So the way I work this is the male pins go in the female housing. So this will be the female housing of our microfit that will go into the side skirt. So female pins go into the male housing. Male is the one that inserts into the other one, right? So it's a male housing with female pins, female housing with male pins. This goes in the side skirt. This will go on the cable. And we'll just need to strip and crimp for male pin or male housing, female pins. Once again, female pins will be the ones that have like the squarish opening to them. And I probably won't be able to get that shown very well, but these are the male pins. They've kind of got a squarish opening to them, where the female pins, excuse me, these are the female pins. These are the male pins that actually have that pointy tip to them. And folks, I am looking at getting at least one or two slightly better cameras that'll have some focusing capability. He is. He's Canadian. All these Canadians, like it's almost like Liz is bringing all of her neighbors in to party. But that's cool. We like everybody here. Anybody that wants to come and hang out, especially on a Saturday morning for a lazy start to the day, we're in like Flynn here. In like Flynn. Okay. So I probably just screwed myself because I got 4 pins out, and every time I get the exact number of pins out and put everything else up, I wind up janking one of the crimps. I'm just going to go ahead and get the wires crimped on here, or the connectors crimped. I'm not going to worry about trying to put them in any order just yet. We'll do that in a second. And before I do that, what I do need to do is put a bit of heat shrink on it so that we can heat shrink the cables down afterward. Provide some added strain relief. And we need to find heat shrink that can go over the sheathing of the existing cable, but just barely, so that when we go to shrink it down, it will actually shrink down around the other cables. This looks like it'll work. What you do and do quite well. Well, there you go. There you go. Mr. Wizix. So the standard CAN bus cable here is two 20 gauge cables, and that's red and black. That is your power. That'll be for your 24-volt power that goes to your CAN bus board. And then two 24 gauge wires, and that's yellow and green, and that is your CAN high, CAN low. And if you know me, I basically just I figured it out once, so I'm going to take a look at the cable behind me when I go to do the pin out order and just make sure that the pin out order matches. Try and be as consistent as possible, especially in my wiring. That way, if I go in to mess with any wiring or any components, I should have, like, the hot end fan in the same port on all of my printers, the part cooling fan, same port of all the printers and stuff like that. So consistency wise. And the other thing with that is, if I'm down and I'm down hard on a printer and I need that particular printer back up for size, shape, whatever, I can cannibalize from one of the other printers, because at the end of the day, they're tools. By default, they are built-in spare parts. And in my case, I don't have the power capacity in my house to run all of the printers behind me at the same time. So taking a printer offline to get another one back up and running is perfectly legitimate use case for me. Thanks for the lurk, Zombie. Hope you get to feeling better. So yeah, we just have the Positron over here kicking away. We're still in break-in mode, right? We've got just a little bit of time on the printer so far. We did some troubleshooting on the last stream. Figured out we had a fan that was not working as designed. And we did a lot of troubleshooting on that to try and figure that out and get some good feedback to the Positron team. See? Issue right there. 20 gauge wire is just really thick, and if I've got my wire thing on it when I try and crimp, then it pre-crimps it just a little bit, and it's too snug to get the wire in. So we'll have to grab another one of these. Okay, so now we've got our 4 wires crimped. What I need to do is I'm going to shut down Iron Dragon so that I can power it off and unplug the connector. And I just realized I was about to, I went through all the hassle of finding the right one and cutting it, and then I was about to put a connector on without putting the shrink wrap on. Heat shrink on. Okay. Pull the power, unplug this, and take a look at it. So we go, looking at the top of the connector, left to right, red, black, green, yellow. Okay. So I now know the order. Looking at the top here, we're going to have yellow all the way to the right, then green, black, because it went red, black, green, yellow. Right? Black is up next. And finally red. There is my cable set up. So again, red, black, green, yellow. This will be another cable. Because they're all cabled the same, I can now hot swap them between the printers just by changing a config line file for the most part. This one will be slightly different because this one is a 1.1. So I will have to make a note on there that this uses an MMB 1.1. What am I looking for? Heat shrink heater. Because once again, there is a slight difference in the pen, which pens go where, between the 1.0 and the 1.1. There's 2 pens that are rolled between the 2 boards. Why? I don't know. You know, it's the version 1 and the version 1.1. Don't know why they'd be rolled, but they are. have to deal with it. So we'll heat shrink our cable, and we'll be done here. Now we will have to make a sister cable to that one, which we will do next. And all we're going to do is use the rest of the cable that we cut. And this will be the part that gets mounted into the printer skirt. Sorry. So yeah, we'll get that one going here. And how's it going, Shenanigans? Hope you're doing well. Welcome in. Welcome, welcome. Have fun, Westery. Hopefully Mia's doing well. Let me know if I need to send dog treats. Because taking care of our pets is a critical, time and need thing these days as well. So Shenanigans, what is the latest mad scientist project that you're working on? I know you have a tendency to do like engines and stuff like that, so. So we got another set pulled off. We're just going to go ahead and hit restart and get another one going. Same type of thing here. We're going to be using the male pins. We'll use here. Need the pins with the pointy ends. So what's everybody doing this weekend? Anybody have any big projects that they're working on? Anybody working on anything for Halloween? I know Liz has probably been doing some Halloween printing. Liz just left to go to the store. I'm like her chore and errand day streak. She listens while she's cleaning or doing this or that, but yeah. I'm gonna sit down while I crimp these and we hang out and chat. Running out to visit a friend in Michigan tomorrow for the day. Nice. How long of a drive is that, Chewy? You got a rook that you're building for West 3D or from West 3D? Like, did they send you a kit to build, or are you building it for them, and it will go to them and be on display? 3.5 hours. That sounds like fun. I think I've got about like an hour and a half drive. And of course, my parents are retired, and my brother works for the government, so he's got a long weekend because of Columbus/Indigenous Peoples Day. And Cisco, it's not one of our defined holidays for this fiscal year. Which I think was interesting. They reduced the number of holidays They switched us from PTO to vacation time off, which is unlimited. You just have to coordinate it with your manager, and you know, we don't have to use that time during our annual shutdown anymore. Still not sure if we're making out in that change or not. I'm gonna have to say no because they wouldn't do it if employees were making out better in the deal. Oh, Timor. Yeah, I feel you there. I had a 5-ton unit that we put in a server room, which was basically about um, I don't know, probably maybe 100 square feet. But I had 3 full racks running in it. Not full racks, but I had 3 racks of equipment. And after losing several hard drives because I came in one night in the middle of summer and it was like 110 in the server room, they finally listened and said, "Hey, we need to fix this." And their solution was to put a dedicated 5-ton AC unit for that room. Needless to say, I was never cold again in that, or warm again in that room. Yeah, I feel you. When you walk outside and you're like, "Oh, it's a dry heat." Yeah, until you sweat through your clothes and your clothes are soaked between the building and the car. Then you jump in your car and the AC's on full blast and hit you. And then amazing that people get sick in the middle of the summer in Arizona. Yeah, well, I am a salary employee, so I mean, I'm getting paid, but it was one of those things that um so technically the numbers when people are given unlimited time off, the vast majority, like statistically, they actually take less time. Statistically wise, they actually take less time because they're not looking at use or lose or anything like that. So over time, they actually wind up taking less time off, which, I, yeah, I have my own druthers about that because when it's PTO, that is a accrued earned HR benefit, and your boss can't say no. When you have to ask your boss to deconflict your time off with things, they can say no, it's not a good time. We haven't had it happen yet, but that is a real possibility. Now, are they going to do that if you're performing well? Probably not. But like I said, it is a possibility because now you've got to quote unquote coordinate the time off. And this comes right as they've they had just finished announcing the people that were tapped in the latest round of layoffs. So, you know, we laid off about a little over 4,000 people in February. Now we laid off, I think it's around 6,300 6 months later. And then they go, hey, you no longer have PTO. We're now, you know, it's unlimited vacation time off. Just coordinate with your boss. And everybody's like, yeah, who's gonna, yeah. I just think timing wise, it's messaging and sus. But anyhow, that's just me. That's just me. On to better things. So, like I said, Positron's printing well. Um, Maintenance on Positron is actually really easy. When we were doing the build, we had to get back into this right side. So your main controller board is on the right side of the Positron. And it's literally 2, 3, 4, 5 screws. And you can take, in this case, my decorative honeycomb and the carbon fiber plate off and have access to all the electronics right there. So 5 screws, and you can take your side plate off and get to everything that you need to for your electronics. So that's pretty cool. Your power inlet is over here, so we are using an AC power brick. So we have a DC inlet on this side and a power switch that goes into a dedicated circuit board over here that then sends power to the main board. So once again, pretty well thought out base, right? You've got the 2 motors that sit down in the base here and over here that drive your XY belts. It's just a very tidy, simple package. Your Z-axis motor is right here, and your extruder motor is over here. Yeah, I think it's just going to be a really tidy, neat package to show off and take place. Okay, so we've got this done. Now what we need to do is, what I always do is I take the cable that I just made, that's the same way as the other one. I'm going to take the housing the way it would sit and just put it on there so I can start looking. So I need red on this side, yellow on the opposite side. So red is, I'll say, the pin 4 side because, well, or yeah, it has a 4 on it. Kind of hard to see on the chat or on the housing there. So that's where my red goes. So I need red here. Black next. Black first. The only thing that sucks about these connectors is they're very finicky in the connector going into the housing in a very specific way so that the little wings on the connector clip in. So, and then red, black, green, yellow. Red, black, green. That is, I'll say, kind of a double-edged sword. So the thicker cables, like the 20 gauge, 22 gauge, are easier to get in because the lighter gauge ones like these 24, or if you've got 26 gauge going into these particular microfits, they're kind of hard because the cable is not rigid enough to really push the connector in fully. So you kind of got to go part way, and then I wind up using carefully a pair of tweezers to make sure that the connector is fully seated. Kind of do the look and definitely do the tug test. The last thing you want is to have this cable kind of married in there in your part, and then you go to put your other connector in, you realize that this pops out, that one of the connectors pops out. Everything stays in, good. Now I did not put heat shrink on this. That was my failure, so I need to try and put it in and loop it all the way around now. Yay me. How did I fix the fan rub? So with the LDO fan, these little standoffs, like you can see there's a little nub on the top of that printed part, really wasn't up high enough for how the printed part is. So in order to get the gap, I put a 5.5 millimeter ball bearing underneath each one of the screw mount holes. Because we don't use the screw mount holes, they're just print in place lugs that help align it. So basically in the lower cup of the printed part, and then so this would be sitting in the printed part, and then this would rest on that ball bearing, and that gave it enough gap between the fins and the printed part. So that's how we fixed that part of it. Then we had an issue, and I'm not sure if the initial rubbing killed this fan or whatnot, but Nomad and Scrimsky, I think it was Skimsky, something like that, were saying that 2 or 3 of these have already been bad. So we worked a lot at trying to get this to work, to the point where we were using the bench power supply to just run it directly with power and ground, and supplying 24 volt, 0.25 amps, it would spin up and then slowly stop. If I gave it more amperage, it wouldn't even start. It would just do this type of thing. So we tried. It is something with the fan, because we took the hot end cooling fan, which is an axial fan, and just plugged it into the part cooling fan, turned it on, and it came on. So it's something with this fan. This is I think it's a 10,000 RPM. Like, this is a special made fan for it to run at a specific RPM. And I need to go back to West 3D and see if they can send me a new one. Right now we're running it with a Winsen fan, and you'll notice the ball bearings aren't in there. The plastic nubs here are taller, and it wasn't needed. So that's how I fixed the rub, and that's how we fixed the fan. We're running a standard Winsen 2-wire positive and ground with no tacho. I either need to get the LDO so I can run the tacho, which isn't technically required now. The macros are there, they're just not being called to do the macro or the fan checks using the tacho. But it is an option. So right now it's an unused option, but it's an option that's built in. What else? I'm still getting some hot end leakage. It's pretty easy to reach down in there and pull it out. I don't know if it's going to seal up over time or not, or what the deal is. But I'm keeping an eye on that. I did take it out and try and tighten that heat break. If I'm still getting a lot of leakage over time, I will take the hot end back apart, which is take the sock off, undo the wiring, take the sock off, undo the 2 screws that bolt the hot end and heat break in. We can pull the heat break out, which is a conical shaped heat break. It's a Fetus Dragonfly style heat break. And I will possibly have to wire things in to use heat to untighten it, or just heat it up with my heat gun. And then possibly put some like boride nitride paste on the threads further towards the actual heat break cold side, just to give it something else to help seal that edge. But yeah, so far, those are the 2 things. There were relatively known issues that they thought had been fixed. Apparently not reliably fixed across everything just yet. But yeah, there we have it. We're going to let this cool a little bit, and then I'll just use my fingernails and scrape things back off. And once again, you can clean the bed, the underside, the print surface side, with IPA. If you feel the need to clean the top side because you've got dust or what have you on it, just water. Not even soap and water. You can just use a damp cloth and wipe it off. Don't use IPA. IPA will damage the film that is used as a heater on this. So that was part of the a PSA announcement on the Discord. So just a heads up that I wanted to make sure and pass that along, since we're all here and we've been doing some Positron. So what do I think about the kit, and what do I think about the printer? The kit is an LDO kit, meaning it's very well thought out. It's got all the parts and then some. The amount of excess or extra screws and stuff is a bit overwhelming and alarming. Like, not gonna lie, it's one of those things that when you get done building this printer and you go, wait, I'm done. According to the instructions, I'm done. And then you see how many screws of different types and sizes are left over. And you go, really? Like, you have that IKEA commercial feeling of, should I have this many leftover parts? And the answer is probably yes. Right? There is a tremendous amount of extras. The only thing I can think of is it's partially due to the fact that there are a bunch of tiny, tiny screws. A lot of 2.5 millimeter screws of various sizes. So since a lot of people, if you built Borons or just about any other printer, you probably have a good selection of M3 screws. I think that's why we got so many of the M2.5 screws. But yeah, there is definitely a lot of extra screws there. Like I said, the build quality is great. The manual is great. There are a few things that need to be either updated or maybe further highlighted. They're trying to get the manual updated right now. The manual is out there on the LDO website, so they have to work with LDO to get it updated. but the quality of the hardware, the hot end, everything, it's been fantastic. Um, yeah, I am seriously looking forward to getting more time on this and taking it to the office and showing it off. I really am. And of course, now this isn't going to go on there well because of the other heat shrink tubing that's on here. So I'm going to have to try and get this off, which is fine. That one off. We'll get this one on. We should be able to work it all the way around. Shrink it down to the other side. And when I say this cable's long, remember we've already cut probably 2.5, 3 feet off, and I've got easily 6 feet of cable still left on here that we're using to make the side skirt to electronics pigtail. Because once again, this is going to be the standard setup that I've done to all the Vorons so far. And that is a side skirt plug that will get mounted on the side skirt, either in the side or the back. And then this will allow me to plug a box turtle in, run it, and if I need to test another box turtle, like I'm going to test this box turtle over on the Trident, I can unplug the one that's there, you know, turn it off, unplug the one that's there, plug in the next one that we're going to be testing, and just do a couple of quick configuration changes to say use this file instead of this file, and we'll be up and running again. So that's pretty cool, I think. And if I want to run multiple box turtles, I just need to have a set of extension ports. You can use what is it? I think Big Tree Tech has a multi board. I know Isix Tech, who is the maker or the manufacturer for the AFC light board for the box turtles, has a 8. You can either use it as an 8 or a 9 port CAN bus board. They also have a serial version called Bird's Nest, and they're made for tool changers. So you can use that to daisy chain all of your box turtles out. You're just going to need to make sure at that point, if I was going to run like 9 box turtles, I would actually have a dedicated power supply to feed the CAN power to all the box turtles, because now you're running like 9 boards. You just want something that would have more amp draw, and you don't want to pull from your main power at that point. So we've got this cable ready to go. What we're going to do is we will get this box turtle up over here and work on getting the config set up. I probably should have, yeah, crap. I gotta turn this back on because this actually has filament loaded to the tool head. So let's get that plugged in and turn back on. We'll go ahead and pull all the filament out of the box turtle that's currently on there, and then we can we can then go and put the new one that we just finished putting together up there. We'll have to flash the clipper firmware to it, like I said. And then once that's done, we can basically just reload the filament and say go. And it should be able to just start printing. Oops, darn it. The one thing I hate is when you drop something down on the deck there. We'll just say restart. And we'll keep printing these out. Like I said, these are the legs to these little crawling pumpkins. So pretty neat, pretty simple little prints. I think it's going to be great for the kids. And I had a thought of, well, even if I can't, figure out what I'm going to do for Halloween, and it looks like the kids in my neighborhood are not going to be in the neighborhood, because a lot of them either go to their old neighborhoods or go to their churches, then what I'll do is I'll take these over to my parents, and they can give them out at their church. The pumpkins were printed out on the rat rig, and we're using the Positron, obviously, to do the little legs and the top piece. Need to tear down the stealth printer today and figure out what's wrong with the hot end. User error. Sorry, that just popped out. That's my help desk voice popping in. User error, ID 10T, My little pumpkin crawlers are getting everywhere. Yeah, stealth burner, and this is the one that we built on channel for you. I mean, stealth burner's been pretty robust for me, and I know I've been listening to some people fighting with Filomatrix, which I don't get, because the issue I had with my Filomatrix was more of the configuration side of how far do I need to tell it to go for the cutter to actually work. Once I figured that out, then it's copy paste. Um, ah, well, hopefully it's just a thermistor issue. Yeah, if you're taking an ADC, then it's a thermistor issue. And that we put an SB2209 in. So yeah, be careful with that thermistor plug, and you're going to have to take the door off and the what am I thinking of? To get to the thermistor, you're going to have to unmount the board to get the thermistor on and off easier. That's the one saving grace of the Filomatrix, is it does have a front CW2 piece that has a cutout to enable access to that thermistor wire. Our little crawling pumpkins are, the crawling pumpkin army is growing. I need to figure my insert tubes here out. It just seems like they're a little bit over extruded and my PTFE tubes are not going in. So I might try and hit these with a 0.4, with a 4mm reamer, just to open them up slightly and to be able to be good to go. What I need to do is pull head up. That's going. I can lane eject one. Lane eject lane 2. Lane 3. And then finally, lane 4, I needed to heat the hot end up because it's in the tool head. Now I can do a tool unload. Bus home first. Okay. Oh yeah, that's a blast. Are snappy and or turtleneck a thing yet? So turtleneck is a thing. I need to put some, it's optional, but I did buy felt. I need to put a little felt strip here, a little on this side, and then on the bottom sides of this H, because these parts go like this and get screwed together. And then this is what moves front to back. And there's a magnet right there that trips the Hall effect sensors. So I need to just mount the felt that I haven't mounted yet. And then I have, other than there's an RGB port here, and then I've got 5 2-pin connectors. I've got pin numbers, but I don't have a config for it just yet. And so there's some instructions that I haven't looked for. Once the instructions are there, I'll be able to finish this. But yes, turtleneck is a thing. You can buy turtleneck off of his website, though I think they're in pre-order for the next batch. And then Snappy. So Snappy is a user mod. It's EREC with a different mount to mount on the back of Box Turtle. Armored Turtle wants to incorporate that within So Snappy Today is a user mod by Maker Milo that mounts Snappy right here, right along the outside, and you're cutting on the outside of the hub. Armored Turtle wants Snappy to be somehow in here, and there's newer versions of these that are in beta testing right now. They're actually a little bit shorter, which I knew that there's fat in here that can be cut out of the length, but it makes this a little bit shorter, and they're looking at getting Snapping Turtle on the inside. Or no, let me rephrase that. That's not Snappy Turtle. They want a hub cutter that's on the inside of the hub. Snapping Turtle is going to be a Snapping Turtle is going to be a tool head. They have opened applications right now. If you're out on the Discord, you can go out. There should be a Snapping Turtle room in the Discord that you should be able to get to and apply. And by apply, it means answer 4 questions like what type of extruder, what hot end, how many sensors, that type of stuff. And they're going to try and figure out making a dedicated tool head for the Box Turtle ecosystem. So, yeah. Basically, Filomatrix is great, but it only works on a Voron. There's several out there that can be mounted between the hot end and a Sherpa Mini, or really you're looking at a Sherpa Mini bolt pattern or the Orbiter bolt pattern. And I think the LGX Lite bolt patterns. Like there's three main bolt patterns, or I should say dimensions, that are used for just about all of the extruders. So right bolt pattern, you should be able to mount it between just about anything. I'm sorry, I'm like brain farting over what I needed to do. So I need this to go up to 200 again now that we've homed. So what I'm doing is just trying to unload the existing Box Turtle. So it's up there to where I can do a tool head unload. Which means it'll go over and do the whole cut and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Snappy is a user mod by Maker Milo. He's got skirts out there for a 5-lane that'll sit fully across the 350. There's a couple of people that have mounts that, so like right now mine are sitting on the acrylic or plexiglass. There are mounts that will mount it to the top frame. And then, yeah, there's a few more, but all right, so that's done. Now I need to do another lane eject for lane 4. Okay, and now with that done, we will pull the hot end down. And I'm going to have to create a config file because this is a MMB version 1.1 and I've only used MMB 1.0s. So I need to go into AFC and you'll see that I have a hardware config. Click on that. We have the include this, or include this. So now I've got a couple of steps. I'll need to add my CAN bus ID in here once we flash it and get the CAN bus ID. And then we're also going to have to switch from a 1.0 to a 1.1 config. Now, really, all that should be doing is defining the pins. So you'll notice that we've got step pin AFC M1 underscore step, right? So it's defining an M1 underscore step. If I come over here into MCU and look at the MMB version 1.1 config, you'll see N1 underscore step is PB15, right? This is basically the pin mapping like you see in standard Voron configs for like the display, the EXP1, EXP2 display connector, right? So I don't think I change anything here. Let me double check. 0, 1. Yeah, I'm gonna have to change motor 3 and motor 4. Because I'm going into different motors than what they are, or different pins than what they are. So okay, so this is the 1.0 board. This is the 1.1 board. So my motors are in PA1. This is motor 1, or lane 1, lane 2, lane 3, and lane 4. So my 3 and 4 need to be PB3 and PB4. Everything else should be the same. I shouldn't have to change anything there. That part was done. The hardware config should be everything here should be the same because I'm basically unplugging one, plugging the next one in. Which sensors are in that one's in the hub. The one in the actual filament head tool is the SB2209. For the LEDs, we're not doing NeoPixel corners. And we're not, I haven't installed the buffer yet. So, and you can see that the buffer is going into MCU buffer. There is no buffer call out here, I believe. Yeah. So the buffer is getting plugged into, well, the turtleneck board has its own MCU. So you have to flash turtleneck. I don't have that information yet. I haven't actually been looking either. So that's bad on me. Not really bad on me. It's been working, so I've just been printing. Now I need to shut this down. But yes, turtleneck is a thing. Technically, Snappy is a thing because it's a user mod. It's Maker Milo's or Milo Maker user mod. The oi, that one will go down there. This one, I need to my rollers in, and we'll put this back here. Turtleneck's a thing. The whoops. Words are hard right now. I don't know why. But yeah, the ecosystem continues to grow. It's a great project. I really do like it. I think a lot of people, from what I've seen, the Discord is getting, I'll say, almost overrun. Like they're actually having to go, wow, we need to really think about how the Discord's ordered and the different rooms and stuff because it's growing by leaps and bounds. So this is probably going to make a bunch of noise for a while because we have to, like I said, we still have to CAN bus flash the board. So Esoterical is the page that we go to. iPhone. This is basically tool headboard flashing. We've got Catapult installed. We'll kind of go from here. Iron Dragon, which is 82. Yeah, let's put the right number in. Really? Oh, it's one downstairs, it said. So there we go. Okay, so Esoterical, CD into Catapult, make menu config. We most likely have a config already there, but we'll double check it. Darn it, stop that. Smoothie board. It definitely is not a smoothie board. M32. B0B1. Grab some of the rest from over here. Oh, you know what? I'm in catapult. I don't need to be in catapult. I need to be in the clipper side because catapult's already done. Should already have catapult on it. Now we need to do the that is doing that, which is catapult. Now this is where we're at. I need to grab this and see if we can see the board. And we do have the UUID here. This is going to be good to have. I'm going to go ahead and copy that now. AFC hardware, not AFC. Yes, AFC hardware up here. Ambush UUID, full V, face through. Green, blue, box turtle. Yeah, if you're going to do a fill matrix because you want to do any type of tool change, or not tool change, but MMU, yeah, go ahead and print the fill matrix parts and add the filament end stops. It makes sense. Okay, now it should come up and recognize the board, but it's not flashed with Clipper, so Clipper won't be able to talk to it yet. So we found the UUID. Now we need to get to Clipper. So we're going to switch over to Clipper. Darn it. Okay, make, menu, config. Sim32, B0B1, 8K, 8 megahertz. 8 kilobit, 8 megahertz, communication over CAN bus. Papa Bravo, not Papa Delta, but Papa Bravo 0 and Papa Bravo 1. Application start offset. Yep, we don't want to overwrite the bootloader. We want the 1 million CAN bus speed. Q, yes. Now we need to make clean. Make. Time to start the hunt. Yep. Make clean, do the make. And using catapult to flash clipper, we're going to do a couple of commands here to, once that's done, we'll stop clipper. Run this command to get it into a flashing state. Now we got to be careful here. We do have to put our UUID in, so we will back out that. Come over here. Grab our CAN bus UUID. And this should put clipper on it. All right, that's done. Now I can run this command again and query it, and we should see that it says clipper not catapult now. Should see. You know what? I think I got to restart clipper. Okay, still not finding it, so I'm going to do a host reboot. Okay. Something's not being liked. I kind of don't like that both Catapult and CAN bus came up with a different board because I've flashed things on this printer before. I'm kind of wondering if something is wonky weird here. Because it should have come up by now. Okay, so it's now not finding my catapult node. So what is going on here? Was flashed with catapult. It liked it. Now it's not seeing it as flashed with catapult. To a LS USB. Nothing's connected there because nothing's connected via USB. Querying the CAN bus. We're not finding anything in the CAN bus. We did, let's make sure we got the right node. So 6cc. We flashed, it took the flash. So it's not finding the catapult node. Same exact query, right? Yeah. Ay, 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 ay. So I'm going to have to kick this back into DFU mode, which will be interesting. Oops. Now, do we see it in DFU mode? Yes, so it's there. So why did it not flash? Go through the process again. Right? CD flipper. Make menu config. Enable extra low level, stem 32. It has a completely different board. So B0B1, 8 kilobit bootloader, 8 megahertz crystal. Communications interface needs to be CAN bus PB0, PB1. That. Q, yes. Make clean. Make. I think that was an error on my part, and I did the wrong make menu config. I was in the wrong directory. We'll get it squared away here. We need to stop Clipper. All right, we got this cleared off. We're going to get another set of prints going. Clipper is stopped. Where that application is still Catapult. We're going to copy that command. Take out the UID. So we successfully flashed Clipper to it before. I just think we successfully flashed the wrong version of Clipper to it. Now we're going to run that command again, and hopefully we see it talking and it says Clipper, so that's good. Now we do a start, which is basically going to do a firmware restart. And finally the noise stopped, or at least a noise stopped. We will install that, and we'll log out. Get rid of that, get rid of that. Might need that. Let's see what the status says. It says leg 2 empty, leg 3 empty, leg 4 locked and loaded. There's something about leg 4 it doesn't like. Leg 1 not ready, check filament at trigger. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through the prep sequence yet again. And empty. So we'll go through Fox Turtle prep, which will check all 4 lanes again. It's not liking something, so there's something wrong with a couple of the legs, but that's fine. We'll double check things. Nice thing is we just need to go into the MCU for the MMB 1.1. We'll check our pinouts. So triggers PA34, PB9, PA8. So trigger PA3, PA4, PA PB3, PA4, PB9. Yep. PA8 should be trigger 4. This is PB12. PA8, not 9. And 1, 2, 3, 4 are the triggers, and the next 4 are the extruders. So we need PC 15, 14, 15, 13, 14, PC 15, PC 13, PC 14. That is correct. And then PB 12. So the extruder and trigger were swapped on the for lane 4. '11 would be the hub. Papa Bravo 11 would be the hub. Huh. It's like completely wrong. Not completely, but PB10 just has the fan in it, so that one should be fine. I do want to make this bigger, so well, I'm gonna make this bigger. Motor 1 enable pin PB8. Like 15 and 14. Up 15 direction 14, UART 10. Right. PD1, PD2. PC 7. Sorry, I'm trying to get these pins right, and it's kind of hard to see. That looks right. Okay, 0, 1, 0. Lane 1 and lane 2 are backwards too, so it's PA1, PA0, 2, EPA2. I think we validated all of that. Whatever reason, it still thinks that it's got something in lane 3. Leg 1 not ready, leg filament at trigger. Leg 1, does it have a, is that end stop moved? Oh no, I'm gonna try and load it and see if the filament load works. I get weirdness occasionally on these, so we'll see if we can get it figured out. Ah, I'm okay. I'm okay. Stubbed my toe, tripped over a box, but I'm okay. Dang, that hurt. I'm glad I didn't have this camera on when I did that. All right. I still don't have my little guides in place, but okay, so lane 4 loaded. Lane 3 loaded. No, I just really banged my toe up and fell over. Really great thing to do. Okay, so 2's working. Okay. So we got all 4 lanes loaded. Dang. I'm going to sit down and take a look at my toe to see if I just did a dumb thing. Oh, yeah. Yep, we did. Well, maybe I won't be going to my brother's. Yeah, no, almost 1 o'clock. Means I do want to get off here because my football game started that I want to watch. 2, I'm now going to be putting ice on my foot, and we'll see what happens because I think I just ripped the toenail from the bed of the toe. That, yeah, that's feeling well. So yeah, folks, I'm going to go ahead and call the stream now that I've just fallen and injured myself. Let me find somebody that we can raid out to real fast. Knowing that we can always raid out the maker deck. Yeah, this, I just did a number. And believe it or not, this is a toe that I have broken before. Getting out of bed. I got up in the middle of the night. This was years ago when I was in Arizona to get up and go to the bathroom, and I slipped and fell and broke my toe. The big toe. Hey, Shenanigans is up and running. Let's jump over to Shenanigans. He's playing Murder Bears, so that's cool. Sorry for the quick end to this. Thank you for hanging out. We've got Positron printing getting some time up. We got the new box turtle loaded and installed and I think ready to go. We'll give that a shot. I'll work on that a little bit later. But right now I've got to go get some ice and figure out what I just did to myself. So thanks everybody for being here. I will see you guys on Tuesday, if not before, and take it easy. Bye now.